What is a profession that was once highly respected but is now a complete joke? I used to be a travel agent back when that actually meant something. This was the late 80s and 90s before the internet destroyed everything. People treated us like doctors or lawyers. We had real expertise that you couldn't get anywhere else. My office was on Main Street downtown, right next to the bank. I had this huge mahogany desk covered with travel brochures, airline schedules, and these thick reference books that listed every hotel in every major city worldwide. Clients would make appointments weeks in advance just to plan their vacations. I knew which airlines had the best food, which hotels gave you free breakfast, which cruise ships had the cleanest rooms. I could book a 3-week European tour with perfect connections, backup flights, and travel insurance, all while chatting with you about your kids. People trusted me with their most important trips. Honeymoons, anniversary celebrations, once-in-a-lifetime family vacations. I planned a safari in Kenya for this retired couple who'd been saving for 20 years. Arranged a graduation trip to Ireland for a family whose daughter was the first to graduate college. The commission checks were fantastic too. Airlines paid us 10% of every ticket price. Hotels gave us bonuses for bookings. A busy week could bring in more money than most people made in a month. I had repeat clients who wouldn't book anything without calling me first. Mrs. Patterson came to me for 15 years straight. Started when she was planning business trips for her husband's company, then family vacations, eventually trips to visit grandchildren across the country. During my peak years, I was booking 50 trips per week. Families flying to Disney World, business travelers going to conferences, college kids studying abroad. I knew the best routes to avoid layovers, which travel dates were cheapest, how to get upgrades without paying full price. Then everything started falling apart around 1995. First came these early travel websites like Expedia and Travelocity. At first, they were clunky and limited. Most people still preferred the personal touch of working with an agent. But the websites kept improving while airlines started cutting our commissions. Instead of 10%, they dropped us to 5%, then 3%, then eventually 0. Hotels followed the same pattern. Suddenly, we were working twice as hard for half the money. The worst part was watching clients discover they could book the exact same flights online for identical prices, sometimes even cheaper because the websites offered special deals we couldn't access. By 2000, my walk-in traffic had dropped by 80%. People would still call occasionally, but only for complicated international trips or group bookings. Everything else moved online. I tried adapting by specializing in luxury travel and adventure tours, things that supposedly needed expertise. But even wealthy clients started researching everything themselves first. They'd come in already knowing exactly what they wanted, just needing someone to physically book it. The final blow came when smartphones made travel planning completely portable. People could compare prices, read reviews, and book flights while standing in line for coffee. Why pay an agent when you could do everything yourself in 5 minutes? My landlord raised the rent in 2003, and I couldn't justify the expense anymore. 30 years of building client relationships and industry knowledge became worthless overnight. I closed the office and took a job selling insurance. Most of my former colleagues did the same or retired early if they could afford it. The building where my travel agency used to be is now a nail salon. Sometimes I drive past and remember when people would line up outside my door during spring break season, desperate for my help booking their trips. Now, when I tell people I used to be a travel agent, they look at me like I said I used to make horseshoes for a living, like it's some ancient profession that disappeared with the dinosaurs. My own kids book their vacations on their phones while watching Netflix. Takes them maybe 10 minutes to plan a week in Mexico. They don't understand why anyone would ever need to talk to a human being about travel. The crazy thing is, people make terrible travel mistakes all the time now. I see friends booking flights with impossible connections, choosing hotels in dangerous neighborhoods, or missing important visa requirements, but they'd rather figure it out themselves than admit they need professional help. Last year, my neighbor Kevin booked a family trip to Paris and accidentally scheduled their return flight for the same day they arrived. Cost him an extra $2,000 to fix it. 40 years ago, that never would have happened with a good travel agent double-checking everything. But nobody cares about that anymore. We went from being essential professionals to completely irrelevant in less than a decade. Technology didn't just change our industry, it erased us completely.